Hi guys, my name is Chris of this. I'm still French and my accent is still terrible. I tend to speak a little bit slower than I used to actually. I did manage somehow to slow myself down. Anyway, this is the first video in a series of free YouTube videos that have been sponsored by AMD. They did put a new Threadripper at my disposition to see how I deal with it. Like, do I enjoy it? Can I create faster and stuff like that? And I can talk a bit more in detail about it down the road. But for now, for this first video, we're going to look into how I create my cell shader render. So you probably know my art from my ArtStation, or if you don't, I will invite you to go and check it. Might be some interesting stuff. I do some Gnomon video about Substance Painter. I'm also a teacher at Gnomon. I teach once a week on Thursday night. If you want, you are very welcome to join our class. I can show you some stuff on my blog, which are not this one, but stuff like that. Basically, it did generate a lot of interest over the last couple of days. People are asking, how do I do that? Especially since I mentioned that I'm rendering those images with no post-process. Basically, what you see, it's straight up out of Vray Next for Maya. I am on the Vray Next beta. I did access the beta as a customer, just registering for it, and I got it on the same day, maybe something like that. And I would suggest that if you own Vray, that you do the same, register for the beta, because it is very good. I consider those videos to be a little bit more like unplugged. Meaning I'm not going to show you every little technique and teach you something specific. No, the stuff I do, I'm just like, I put myself naked in front of you. I'm like, this is what I do. That's how I do it. If someone have a better way of doing it, or maybe making it faster, that person is very welcome to share the way they do it. In this case, I share it because people ask for it and because there's an interest. I share it because AMD did sponsor those videos. Again, I repeat, they did sponsor those videos. They did put a Threadripper at my disposition, which is a great machine. I'm going to talk about it probably in another video, not now. But the stuff we're going to do is basically look at image like that. And those are the type of results we are going to go for, right? So, and in Maya, in this video, we are going to do two projects. One a little bit slower. The first one will be a little bit slower than the second one, and then we're going to move a little bit faster. And this is pretty much it. I think we should just start cranking. Let's go. So let us start. As mentioned before, I'm going to act the same way as if you were in the room with me, meaning I'm trying to not have software crash, and I'm trying to not edit and cut my video. So what are we going to do? We have a piece of geometry. We're going to do a quick IPR just to make sure that we are good. We have the Vray frame buffer. We do a quick render, and we see that we have what we expect. It's looking okay. I'm going actually to kill my dome light here, and I realized that the background is gone, but my reflection are still in place, because if I look at my render setting here, you can see that I did actually go under override and look at environment, and here I did change the background color to whatever I want, but I did tell it to use the GI texture and the reflection texture override using the HDI than I was using before for the dome light, right? Meaning I can have whatever I want here for color for my environment. So for my background color, let's go somewhere there maybe for now. Okay, so next step is to create, first of all, a surface, and it's going to be a Vray Toon material. I'm not going to assign it to anything for now, because first I want to create my Vray Toon edge. Vray Toon. So what it's going to do is, if you look here, and you look here, I have my Toon edge turned on, and the very important element that you need to consider there is actually the threshold here, the normal threshold. Let's close that. My normal threshold here is at 0.8. If I put it at 0.1, you're going to see that we see a lot less of those lines here. But if I put it at 0.9, we're going to see more of those lines, which I'm going to make red right now, just for the purpose of demonstration, to make sure we see them. Look, I'm going to do 0.99 I'm going to go even further, 0.999. So now you see all those lines. I'm going to make those lines at 0.5. Then the inner line control, I'm going to make those inner line green, bright green. That make sure we see them. And those inner line, I'm going to say 0.3. And overlap threshold, look, if I put it at 1, this is why it's going to happen. 0.95. Much better. You see how they overlap each other, and actually we should be able to do 6, and then we can do here, we can do 0.95 again. So you see how I generate my line, right? I can drop any texture I want here. Example, I could drop I don't know, Vray 2D texture. Let's do 3D. Let's do 2D texture. Let's do actually no, we're going to do a 3D texture, and we're going to do a cloud, and it's going to allow me to change the scale and the opacity of my lines, which I can do from here. Here I drop in the opacity, meaning my opacity is not constant everywhere. I can also change the line width. Same story, dropping a texture, maybe a fractal for now. See my line are changing, and then depending on what I'm doing here, I'm going to see a difference. So. But for now, it is not what I want to do. I want to come back here, move that here, and then actually let's look at my Vray Toon. We're going to search for it. Toon. Going to grab it from there. Going to expand everything and just remove those two textures for now. So. And going back to my Vray Toon. Create Vray Toon. I get my line again. Inner control, let's make them red or green. Okay, 5. Those way are going to be red or orange, and those one are going to be 5.2, but the sorry, if I put it at 1, everything is orange. 0.997. I know the geometry roughly, meaning I already have an idea about what value are working and what value are not working, and that's why if I put 1, this is what's going to happen, and I'm going to go 0.994, and then going to make the line width at 25. Okay, those are my line. They are clean, they are nice, they're doing what I want. Now I can come in and just change the color to some blue for now. I'm never satisfied with the line work, right? It's something I keep tweaking till the end. So next step is to grab my material here, select object with material, and then just assign my tool material. And this is exactly what it's going to happen, because I don't have a direct light. Create light. We're going to create directional light for now. We're just going to look through selected, panel look through selected, and I'm going to move it somewhere there. Not too much, something like that. So now if I come to my tool material, I can move that one here, and I can see I can choose on my gradient is going across my geometry. So next is to look at my texture, my textures, the original texture. So I'm going to look at my Vray Toon. I'm going to grab first my diffuse. This is the one I want, and I'm going to drop it into my diffuse from my Vray Toon. Okay, it's already looking more interesting. Now looking at my material, I can come here and change the color to something bluish, more blue, brighter, and this one is going to be white. So it's already started to look quite nice, right? But we are far to be done. Let's go back to the material. I'm going to be a bit faster because we want to progress, and I'm going to look at what is coming down the pipe. First, we need the light control. We don't care material reflection. We need the reflection color, meaning to grab my reflection texture, which is here. Reflection, it's grab it from below the frame of the recording. Reflection color. Then I'm going to grab my glossiness, right here. Then I'm going to drop my IOR from there. I'm going to do another video later to explain how to convert material from Painter to Vray manually, because it's nice to click a button and have everything happen automatically, but it's very important to know what you're going to do, just in case one day your button is not working, or you are called at the desk of a co-worker or a co-student and you want to help them, but they don't have the tool that you use every day. That's why it's very nice to use a tool that does it for you, but it's also very important to know what the tool is doing in the background. Anyway, we are going to come down and we're going to look at bump, and we're going to say it's a normal in tangent space, and we're going to drop normal here and call it a day. Now if I look at my IPR, this is what I got. So far so good. I have a little bit of reflection going on, you can see it there. Now if I go back to my material and I look at my diffuse ramp offset, you see I can crank those values a little bit. I can also crank oh, this one important, replace the light color, look, because I like it pink or pinkish, let's say pinkish here, somewhere like that. Then look what you can do, just a little bit, not too much, just the tip there. Now I can come to my specular ramp and just take the specular down. Now you see my specular is way stronger, and then I can just move it again and again. Actually I want my specular to be maybe toward the blue. Actually no, we don't want specular there, but we might want some value there, and just move it. No, I'm going to take it down until I get those values there. You can see them here and here. I'm going to leave them there, just something like that. Okay, so the next stuff I want to look at now is a very important one. It's Toon edge override. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't work, probably because I'm using the beta, but just turning them on. Now I can come and make my edge red, and as you can see it is not working. The override is not working right now, but it's not a problem because I have only that object in my scene, meaning I can go back to my Toon here, my Vray Toon, and just start to play with those values, and start to come here and change those parameters. So we're going to tweak a little bit more. Example here, I'm going to give it more toward the brown, orange, something like that, and crank the value here. Then maybe take the opacity to 0.8. And as for this one, I'm going to look into some color like that and just go down there. Nice. This one is actually too orange. So I'm almost done with that one actually. You see the speck here moving the reflection? They are there. So the next step I want to do is create a polygon plane. This is going to be my shadow catcher. going to move it up a little bit. Perfect. And a little bit bigger. Lighting, shading, assign favorite material. I'm going to make a blend in the first place. As always, from the blend I'm going to grab Vray material, what's called again? A wrapper. Sorry, I use so many render engines that I forget the name all the time. Material wrapper. In the material wrapper I'm going to drop a Vray surface, regular Vray material that I'm going to drop in the material wrapper, and then I'm going to say it's a matte surface. It's actually catching shadow, and now as you can see we are catching the shadow only. I'm going to make it bigger. Okay, now the next issue we have is that object here, meaning the plane, is part of the scene, meaning it's also getting those outline for the cell shader, right? The Toon outline. Obviously I don't want those Toon outline. They are really annoying right now on that flat plane. So first I'm going to fix my light, because my light is a little bit annoying. I want my light to come like that with a nice contrast. And the next step I want to do is look into my Vray Toon, and as you can see there is affected object. It's basically a set. I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to grab all the geometry that is in group 1 and drop it in that set. And now I'm going to say the set is inclusive, and as you can see we get the shadow, we get everything, but the plane here is not generating Toon edge. Okay, so fairly simple, fairly easy. There is nothing really crazy going on. That's for the basic of the Toon shader. So I might want to go back. I like to tweak until I find something I like. Like now I like it a little bit more. See, perfect, those lines. And actually I'm going to go 99 just there, and actually this one we're going to be 992, just to get a little bit more stuff going on there and there. So the next step is going to be the post-processing. It's actually the meat and butter of my render. That's what is going to generate those specific look. Okay, let's get cranking. But before we do the post-processing, we're going to look at another light. Create another light. I'm going to create another directional light for now. It's going to be good enough, and I'm going to say panel look through selected, and moving it there, from there, maybe moving it somewhere there, just to have a doppel shadow, except this one is going to be I don't know if I want to make it blue. We're going to keep it white, but what we're going to do is make it 0.2, just to avoid to be too flat. And then maybe this light is not really casting shadow, so let's see if I can turn off the shadow here somewhere. Use a retouch. Perfect. So shadow is turned off. We might want to no, actually we're good. We're going to keep our line like that. Next step, remember I mentioned post-processing, but at the same time in the beginning of the video I mentioned I'm not using any external post-processing. It's no Photoshop, there's nothing like that. So what I'm going to do is move that up there that you guys can see it, and I'm going to turn on my post-processing window here. Let's turn off those one, and I'm going. The first stuff I do is maybe make it a little bit bigger. The first stuff I want to do is to look at loading a lookup table. I have my own lookup table. Some of those I did create them, some of those I did download them online. Let's look at that one. That one's a bit too strong. Let's see if we can get I like this one a lot. So now I'm going to come here, and it's where I start to play with those values, right? Let's remove that all. Then exposure, I'm going to take it a little bit down. then maybe my contrast a bit stronger, my white balance somewhere there. So I don't really have a recipe for that, right? I just play with those values until I get something I like. This is what makes it fun. It's like I don't go to Photoshop, I do it in real time, get real-time feedback. So here, this one, you see we can go like very strong, but for now I'm going to leave it there. Then maybe some color balance. Something like that. Let's look if we can do something with a curve, maybe the level. Up. This one not going to help us too much. Let's bring that back. Okay, we're not going to do the level. We're going to reset the level and not touch them, but we're going to look at the curve and see if we can do something with it. Where's my curve? It's there. Here. This stuff, of course, you don't want to overdo it. And something like that. And maybe move this one a bit more like that. And then I'm going to go back to my Vray Toon, and now I'm going to look at my line again and be like, you know what, my line needs to be darker, this one needs to be bigger, 4, and this one needs to be black or gray. So now I'm going to come back here and I'm going to look at my exposure again and be like, no, I want my exposure to be stronger. And I'm almost done with it. I could actually load another lookup table just to see if I get something more. No. Persistent is not the best one for that. We're going to go back to what ended. That's one cool work actually. It's kind of cute, but hidden it or elute it. Yeah, I'm going to get this one and just look at my contrast to take it down a little bit, and this one, something like that. Good. I'm fairly happy with the result at this point. I could tweak ad vitam aeternam, but we don't want to do that, right? Right now what I'm going to do is look at my camera, because that's the final step of what I want to do. Camera, my perspective shape here, and I'm going to look at my value, look at my Vray extra attribute, and I'm going to treat as a physical camera. I'm going to make sure that my shutter speed is like 30, more light. My vignetting amount is 1. See a little bit of vignetting, not too much, and exposure color correction. We might want to go more toward the orange this time. Something like that. Let's go back there. Now it is cute. Yeah, this is for this one. This is basically the way I do it, and then obviously I click render, and because I enjoy watching those core walking, it is quite nice actually to see how they walk. As you can see there, they're like cranking like crazy, and here we can see performance. Yes, it's why it's rendering fairly fast. It's very nice. Not super keen on the look, because it don't look really like end draw, but more like post-processing, right? Which is kind of cool. It's a specific look. We are going to keep it, and then we're going to move to the next piece. So render time was not too bad. Where are we at? We are at yeah, 56 second render time. It's quite nice. Very happy with the result. Let's move to the next pieces. So for the next piece, we're going to be a little bit faster. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at that and say display hide unselected object. Perfect. I'm going to do a quick render, see what we have. So all render. Okay, that's what we have there. We're going to say display show all. Moving everything there, and then I'm going to do a proper render in the first place. Simple proper render to see what we work with. Okay, it's going to calculate everything. Task manager, you can see that everything is some CPU are not working right now, but most of them are working, which is great. Yeah, it's really impressive actually. I'm amazed at the speed of render with that machine. Let's keep going. It's rendering. I'm going still to pause because I guess the render is going to take still 2 minutes instead of 6 or 8 before, but let's pause it for now. So render is done. Let's see what's the render time. 2 minutes 30 seconds, which is a minute more than when I'm not rendering with Camtasia on, which is okay. It's actually quite impressive. So we are going to concentrate some more on the body. That's why I'm going to select those two objects, display hide unselected, bada bing bada boom, and we're going to do start an IP here again. And in the meantime, we're going to come here and we're going to make sure that we create a Vray Toon, surface, Vray Toon. Here I have it. Then I'm going to say the Vray Toon is assigned to the body. So far so good, right? We need to create light, a directional light. I'm going to do directional light, panel look here, panel look through selected. So I'm going a little bit faster, but this is the idea. You get the rough idea now. You should know where we are going. So that's rendering, that's fine. We're going to look at that here. We're going to grab the Vray Toon. First we expand the body because I want to grab the texture. I don't want to grab them from somewhere else. And that's the body here and the Vray Toon there. And now I'm going to reassign those texture where they belong to. Okay, we said the diffuse, which is here. Body reflection, body glossiness. We want the body diffuse for the Toon. Come here, up. Diffuse, we are good. We are going to look at our color there. What happens if we make that blue or red? Yep, that's more interesting. But actually I want it darker. I want it more toward the blue. And this one will be more toward the blue again. And let's see if we can push all of that. You can see it here. And there, look what happened when I push those values. So I'm going to go somewhere there. I really like the mix between Toon shader and realistic environment. It's kind of interesting. So my Vray Toon is good. What else? We keep going and then we come to replace light color, which we're going to look into later. We are going to look at our reflection amount, which is going to be our reflection map. Here, reflection. I guess you cannot see it because I need to move that up. Grab the reflection, drop it there. So far, so good, right? Yeah, everything is super shiny. It's definitely not what we need. What we want to make sure is to use our spec gloss. Glossiness here, reflection glossiness, grab it, drop it, much better. And then obviously we have our IR, so up, we drop it there, and now we can see that it is much better. It still look a little bit flat, well, because there is no normal attention space, and we're going to grab it there and move it there. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the second project, I'm going a little bit faster, right? So now we are looking at something that look a little bit too realistic for my task. Let's see here if we can do something. I'm going to close that for now. And looking at my reflection color, everything is fine here. I could take my reflection down, but it's not what I want to do, because I still want some reflection. But my specular, this is where we need to think a little bit and see if we can do something like, let's see, some little blue, kill this one, and something like that. Yes, I like that. So now I come back to my diffuse ramp, and let's see if we push. It's going to look super flat, but going to keep it there. And this one, if we move, we wanted something around that area. You see, you start to get that color, how do I call that, some ink look a little bit, you know, kind of water ink. I kind of really like it. So now I can start to look into my replace light color. I'm going to make it green, just for demonstration purpose, and then replace, something like that. And now that I like it, I can come back to my orange. Do I want orange or want brown? What do I want? Actually I want blue. Not too much, that will be too much, but something there. And then we can do an add, too strong, over, way too strong, multiply. Let's see what multiply is giving us. You see, but we want to keep it as flat as possible with just a little bit of volume. That's why we are fairly okay there. So now I'm going to look again at my reflection and take it down a notch. Not completely, but something there. Much better. Create Vray Toon, and let's look at the Toon here. Okay, something like that. And Toon render element online. We're going to get let's, you know what, inner line control. We're going to go normal threshold 1 if everything is black, 0.995, too strong, I don't know, 997, and my line are going to 5. You see, now I get those lines here that I really like. This one could be maybe 4 to start with. Do I really want a strong line? I don't know. I think 1 is more what I would want. But here I might want 9. It's still too much. Let's go here 0.995, and here my light color. You see where my light are going. They're here, but because they are black, we did not really see it. I say light. Actually, I did mean line. Let's make them blue. Let's make them something like that for now. See, I have so much control. It's very hard actually to figure exactly what you want, but at the same time it's a challenge. It's quite interesting because you decide and you design as you go, and I really like that. Okay, and I'm going to come here 0.4, and then this one is going to be 2, and going to come toward the blue and back to 0.75. So now you see my line, and this one is going to be black anyway. 0.4. No, 0.8. So here I could drop any map that is going to give me variation of my intensity, my width and stuff like that, right? So normal threshold, I'm going to push it to 1, not good. 0.999. Now you see you get all that stuff going on. Look, I'm going to make them white for you to see. See, I get all those nice lines. Now I'm going to go to a number that is more like 0.9, 0.7, 0.2, 0. And again, they are not modifying. So let's get that here somewhere. See, now if I update this one, so I have some difficulty with the update. I don't know if I have to do with the beta, but it is quite impressive still. Anyway, 0.994, and now I get my line back, and I'm going to make 997, 998, and I'm going to make them black. So this is where I am at for now, and I can go back to my shader. If I look at my Vray Toon, you realize that my Toon edge override is supposed to work, but it is not working. Let's see if I make the color different. No, it is not working. Only in certain projects it's working, some it don't. I don't know why. Anyway, do I want some subsurface scattering? Not really. I should not really use it, but sometimes, you know, you just turn on a feature and you get a very interesting look. But in this case, I'm not going to forget about that. Yes, the next step is obviously to look at our different look. What do we want to do? No background image. Let's get that down. Let's start with the lookup table. Way too strong. Going to get this one maybe. Nope, I don't like it. Definitively no. Let's see if I have something more interesting. Color grading, generic. No, those are the ones we were taking. So as I mentioned before, those have been bought online or downloaded online from a free LUT repository. Oh, no. Even less actually. We could maybe make this one work, but we are not going to. That's why we're going to go to the trusted one, the one I know work. Do you remember, as I mentioned, right? I'm not going to stop the video. I'm just going to go with whatever I do, same way as if I was in the classroom. Then guess what? Generally, it's what happened in the classroom. It's like I have something in mind, and then a student asks a question, take me to another idea, and then change my mind and do something different. So that's where we are at right now. I kind of like this one. It's a bit too yellow, but we can definitively work with that. I'm going to take it more toward the blue. Come here. Then you go somewhere there. Yes, now I start to really enjoy it. So why? Because now I can come, look, I can come here and tell that light here, that main light, I don't want you to be visible. See? Now I really start to like it. I can come back to my white balance here, and then maybe a little bit less, something like that. My saturation here, I'm going to take it a little bit down, and my shadow, no, I want the shadow toward the, yes, I want the shadow toward the blue, the mid-tone. I don't know. Yes, I guess I like that. So now what I can also do is go back to my environment, override, rendering, override, environment, and environment override, and tell it to use a white image or a white background. So far so good. I'm fairly happy with the result. What else do I want to change a little bit? Maybe the exposure, not too much, just gentle. and that's going to need to go down here, and my contrast just a little bit. So now that I really like this style, I can go back to my Vray toon and start to crank again my line. 1, 2, 4. See, now I get that strong line going around. And as for this one, 1, way too strong, 2, 0.6. I get it there and there, and my threshold is going to be down to 0.9. Actually, I might want to go a little bit higher, 0.92. So obviously, you don't have to follow the video every time I move something. You can just power through the video and stop at the part that are interesting for you, right? It's just right now I really start to have a lot of fun. The computer is so fast and the feedback is so in real time, which is something I generally only get with Redshift when I use Redshift on the GPU. It actually make working in Vray on the CPU fun again for me, because I generally stopped to do it. It was just too slow. Okay, Toon render element only. I'm going to remove my edge line, but I have them back here, and the next step is going to propagate that to the rest of the material, which I'm going to do offline and come back when it's done. So, and now I'm back after doing a couple of manip on the material, you know, just reassigning the material to the dome and the gears. Obviously, the dome, I didn't make sure that it is not in the Toon set, just to make sure that I don't get a lot of edge around it, because it's glass. I don't want anything on it. And yeah, I think it's coming along nicely. Vray Toon, if I look at there, I'm looking at those stuff. I'm like, yep, it's fine. It's fine. Everything is relatively fine. Let's see what we do here. We do that. It's look a lot like let's see, like qualified as crayon. I don't remember the name. You know, those color pencil drawing. That's actually what I have in mind. And then maybe we could even start to look into the Kodachrome and start Hackman it. Not really much better, but yeah, this one is actually much better. And this is where we're at. So it's going to be the end of this video. I think it was informative. At least I hope it was informative enough. This is how I do my Toon render currently in Vray Maya Next, or Vray Next for Maya. I'm on the beta 2, which every customer can download, it seems. It's not a problem. If you have questions, send me an email and ask me, and I will be able to help you. Keep an eye open for the upcoming video. I have a couple more videos that I want to do, especially about Redshift, and about, not about Painter, about the process of painting, but maybe some rendering in Painter, and some Redshift material, and maybe some Arnold down the road. Stay tuned.